Good morning. Welcome to the Crawford County Commissioners' Work Session for September 18th, 2024. We'll start with the correctional facility.
Morning, Commissioners.
Morning, Jack.
Morning, Jack.
This morning I have a few items to go over.
Okay.
Item A, approve the purchase of a new updated radio repeater from Mobilcom. Purchase and installation price is $9,982. Purchase and installation will be paid with the Keefe Tech Fund.
And did you get the clarity from Stephanie about how you want to handle it? Do you want the invoice? Do you want Keefe to fund us? Do you want it to fund?
I think Keith wants us to pay it and then they'll reimburse us.
They wanted to send us a check made out to the
So
county.
as soon as we get the invoice, we'll be able to tell them exactly how much it is.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
Next is approve the purchase of two Concept Developments HCS handgun clearing systems from Galls. Purchase price is $415.99. This is not a budgeted item, but it's to be funded through the CCAP safety grant.
Okay. Thank you.
Item C is approve the payment of $2,312 to Cleveland Brothers. The payment is for the required annual generator test load, and this is a budgeted item.
Okay.
Item D is approve the purchase of an installation of two new safety cell windows. An intake housing unit. The purchase and installation of these two windows is $1,450. Inmates damaged the windows, and this is not a budgeted item.
And you take them back through the process to have them pay it back? Or?
We do, but
Okay. You can. Okay.
Exactly.
All right, thank you.
Item E, approve the purchase of a Risen Sun Dynamics Tac stun belt. The purchase price is $2,200. Purchase will be reimbursed by P-Corps grant. This is not a budgeted item.
Okay.
Item F is ratify the invoice of Lindsay Refrigeration for repairs and replacement to compressor motor at the walk-in freezer. The cost of repairs, compressor motor, refrigerant, and labor was $2,761.17, and this is not a budgeted item.
Any questions?
There's just one thing on the repeater. Did Mobilcom give us any indication as to how they thought that would improve our, we realize you're replacing a 25 or 30-year-old
Right.
repeater.
They thought it would improve the capability of going from one radio to the other. In addition to that, it gives us the ability to use talk around
Talk
channels.
Okay,
So,
Makes
very
sense to
good.
us. Okay,
thanks.
thank you.
Thanks, Jack.
You want to handle public comment?
We can, sure.
thank
So Wes is not able to be here. Seeking approval for the unbudgeted purchase of a contact management system for setup and first year of service with BTM Software Solutions for $8,500 to be paid from the Indigent Defense Grant recently received.
Okay.
And along with that same grant funding, the approval to create the unbudgeted temporary position of litigation service coordinator, also to be paid from that grant funding.
Any questions? Okay, the courts. Good morning.
I am here for approval for the 15-month lease for the NDJ Meadville office with the city of Meadville for 2025 at $2,030.33 a month with a 90-day notice of early termination by either party.
Any questions for the courts? Thank you.
Thank you.
The chief assessor.
Good morning.
Morning.
Morning, Joe.
I come to you with a couple of items this morning. The first one, to ratify the purchase of a requisition for latitude 350 or 3550 for $1,069.17, and Dell docking station for $173 to replace my laptop. I was going to try to get it one more year, and it had other ideas. And
Okay.
it's also not compliant to Windows 11. And secondly, a real estate tax refund is owed for the Bigwood property due to a clerical error of the assessment office for tax year 2020. This office assessed Mr. Bigwood for a mobile home in the amount of $3,700 under the account referenced above 15. However, he was already assessed for the same mobile home under account 1506-98-84-77-78-79. Not realizing the error, Mr. Bigwood paid taxes on both mobile home assessments.
Any questions for Joe? Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Public safety.
Morning, everyone.
Morning, Greg.
Just asking you to approve the payment of $3,250 to MCM for continued work on the hazard mitigation plan. And asking for your signatures on a new agreement with Armstrong for relocating the internet at the fairgrounds to the backup center.
Any questions for Greg? Thank you, Greg.
Thank you.
County maintenance?
Morning.
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 Hi, Mark.
Asking approval to pay Stevenson Equipment, this is to purchase, new 6-foot pallet forks for the skid steer at the fairgrounds for $2,600.
Okay,
Asking approval to pay the Eads Group for engineering services on the parking deck rehab for $4,382.40.
okay,
Asking approval to pay CPS Construction Group, this is for pay application number 1 of the parking deck rehab for $65,481.26.
okay,
Asking approval to pay Strongland Roofing Systems for pay application number 5 of the correctional facility roof project for $44,560.08.
okay,
And asking approval to pay Trinity Door Systems, this was to repair a door at the Judicial Center for $2,413.23.
any questions for Mark?
No.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Planning? Morning, Sam.
Morning, Sam.
Request approval of payment to Vote Heating and Cooling, a reimbursement totaling $752 for training wages associated with the construction industry workforce program. It's non-budgeted and it's paid for out of workforce and retention program.
Okay,
Approval of a partial payment of application for payment number 8 from XL Excavating in the amount of $80,144 for construction services at Heidi Cooper Park. It's a non-budgeted item. Out of that, $69,370 is paid for out of the City of Meadville's fiscal year 2021 CDBG, and $10,774 is paid for out of the county's competitive CDBG CB grant.
okay,
Request approval to pay invoice number 14978 from Porter Consulting Engineers in the amount of $1,158.75 for engineering services at Heidi Cooper Park. It's a non-budgeted item paid for out of the county's competitive CDBG CV grant. Request approval of a partial payment of application for payment number 3 from Blooming Valley Landscape and Supply in the amount of $28,057.27 for construction services at Carl Gurdon Park. It's a non-budgeted item paid for out of the fiscal year 22, the county's fiscal year 22 CDBG.
okay,
Request approval of invoice number 100 from Venango Borough for reimbursement of partial payment of application for payment number 3 for Blooming Valley Landscape and Supply in the amount of $37,000. This is for construction services at Carl Gurdon. It's a non-budgeted item and is paid for out of the county's Act 13 Environmental Initiative funds. And request approval to pay invoice number 2314 from the City of Titusville in the amount of $5,958.69 for reimbursement for blight demolition at 216 North Drake Street. This is a non-budgeted item. It's paid for out of the Blight Revitalization Program.
any questions for Sam?
No.
Nope.
Thank you, Sam.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Human Services?
Good morning, Kelly.
Morning.
So I only have like 8 items. I'm requesting approval for MATP's total expenses for fiscal year 23-24. The total cost is $888,641. This is an increase from last year. Last year was, from fiscal year 22-23, that cost was $6,115,579, but there's no county match.
Okay,
I'm requesting approval for the transportation procedure agreements, which ensure that the Greenville School District and CYS work together to design a local transportation plan for foster children enrolled in their school district. This would be applicable when it has been determined that the foster children remain in their school of origin and alternative means of transportation to and from school have been explored and are unavailable. It is a 3-way cost, like a 3-way split for us. There is a request for approval for the CYS final allocation for fiscal year 24-25. The total cost is $19,436,925. The cost to the county is $3,419,090. So this is the final allocation versus the letter of assurance that you signed for fiscal year 24-25.
increase.
So, thank you. Okay,
The next are CYS JPO contracts for fiscal year 24-25. I'm requesting approval for the fiscal year 24-25 CYS contract with Marikey for foster care services. They're the same levels that we contracted with last year. The rates for level BX and CX remain the same, but the rate for level AA is about 20.25% increase. This is for therapeutic foster care, so it's only for room and board. The total cost is $25 per day. The rest is paid through out of MA dollars.
okay.
The next are contracts for mental health ID and early intervention for fiscal year 24-25. I'm requesting approval for fiscal year 24-25 contract with Community Counseling Center of Mercer County. The contract is for outpatient services at the Jamestown schools. The maximum contract is $10,514.95. This will cover up to 5 Crawford County youths to receive a mental health assessment and 16 units of therapy. The contract rates are the same as those paid for by Carillon, which is our MCO, which are 6% higher than the prior year contracted rates. I'm requesting approval for the fiscal year 24-25 contract with Bologna Industries. The Office of Developmental Programs has increased the intellectual disability state set rates retroactive back to July 1st of 2024. While the mental health program has historically matched those rates set by the intellectual disability through ODP, we are not required to do so. As a compromise, since the July mental health invoice has already been billed and paid, we've agreed to increase the mental health rates effective August 1st, which is the caveat that the contract maximums for the mental health services are not being increased.
Okay.
The next 2 items, the rates are the same as the prior year. We have a contract with BDM Sisters Group Home. It's a group home for CYS children to include an intervention specialist and transportation. The rates remain the same.
Okay.
The next one is for Touchstone Solutions. It's for an in-home community supports which within the medical environment and community participation, and those rates remain the same.
Any questions for Kelly? Thank you.
Thank you, Kelly.
Thank
Finance.
Good morning.
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 For your approval, I have one invoice today. It's to Tucker, Johnston, and Smelser. It is the 24-25 volunteer insurance premium in the amount of $1,079.85.
Okay. Human Resources? Thank you. Hi, Brittany.
I'm looking for approval for the third quarter payment with Pension Technology Group invoice number 3534 in the amount of $5,000. It's a budgeted item.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
GIS?
GIS is requesting approval of the payment of invoice from Civic Vanguard for GIS support for August in the amount of $1,504.
Okay.
And Voters is requesting ratification of the purchase of ICP supplies for the general election in the amount of $1,075. This is a budgeted item.
Okay.
And ratification of payment to Fine Print for ballot envelopes in the amount of $4,062.50.
Okay, any questions for those ones?
No.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, and for commissioners, we have notifications, PADEP notification from Mark Corey and Associates for the Cants Road Culvert Number 1 replacement project over an unnamed tributary to Little Sugar Creek in East Fairfield Township. An NPDES permit notification from LSSE for single residence sewage treatment plant in Townville Borough. And a PADEP permit notification from SE Technologies for plant expansion project, including construction of pollution control facility, selenium treatment building, and restoration of an existing paved road in Greenwood Township.
Okay, any questions on that? Upcoming events, September 25th will be a full session, October 2nd will be a work session. Any public comment? Technically by Roger's rule, or we are changing that to saying it 3 times at the Workforce Development Board, I have to do, but. Go ahead with your consideration.
Asking for payment of printing and shipping of the 2024 per capita tax bills and duplicates in the amount of $12,935.50. Half of the printing will be reimbursed by the municipalities, and it is a budgeted item.
Is there a motion to add that to the agenda?
Second.
Has been properly moved in second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Okay.
Okay. Do you need me to present
Yeah,
it again?
just say it
Okay, that's
again.
fine. Just-
Oh, that was exciting.
No, I just want to hear it again so I know what the
Okay.
amount was.
So I'm asking for payment of printing and shipment of the 2024 per capita tax bills and duplicates in the amount of $12,935.50. Half of the printing will be reimbursed by the municipalities, and this is a budgeted item.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else for any other public comment for Kelly? No. Commissioner comments?
Nothing for me, thanks.
Nothing.
Michelle, okay, we'll see you next week.